After a long and grueling season, we are ready to rumble one final time in season number 3. 4 enter the ring, 1 leaves a champion. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the High Tide Racing League MF Racing Designs Premier Series and to Championship 9. My name is Ola Rempel, alongside Derek Watson. We are bringing you all of racing action from start to finish of tonight's 150 lap for the Sunshine State at Homestead-Miami Speedway. Derek, one of the tracks that has seen appearances in all 3 seasons so far. It started off the round of 12 2 seasons ago. Last season, it hosted the season finale, and it returns in that slot this afternoon with 4 drivers ready to rumble, only 2 of which, were in contention for the championship last season.
Yeah, exciting run here. A great track to finish off at. It's going to be a driver's race track, a beautiful facility here. And one more time, the High Tide Racing League returns to the Sunshine State. Well, let's take a look here. The points are pretty simple. As far as the top 4 concerned, you see the 4 names up top. There you go, Kilroe, Ping, Williams, and Marasco. For them tonight, Nolan, it's pretty simple. The highest finisher of the 4. You'll see their names in yellow on the ticker all night long. Whoever finishes the best, whether they win the race, finish 2nd, 3rd, what have you, wins the title. Now, up and down the field, there's still some people fighting for pride, trying to get some last-minute points out of here, maybe see what they can finish to take away some momentum into next season. So there's the points, Nolan. And again, it's this best finisher wins the title.
Best finisher wins the title. No bonus points at play. Dustin Ping enters this race as defending champion. Last season, he was 1 lap down much of the race. It was looking like it was going to be between Kilbro, Tony Hilbrands, and Benjamin Lacey. But then they all came down for their final pit stops. Ping stayed out, hoping for a lucky break. And then when Bob Berry ended up spinning himself out in turn 3, that brought out the caution Ping needed. He got on fresh tires, maintained the lead lap because he didn't pit, and he was able to drive through the field and take an easy win. Now he looks set to defend that crown this afternoon. Dalton Kilroe, one of the main drivers that was fighting for a championship last season. Sean Williams and Ty Marasco have both never made it to the Final 4. Marasco has competed in all 3 seasons so far. This is his first chance, though, to get into the Final 4 and fight for an actual championship. And Sean Williams, of course, coming in with a lot to prove as well. Didn't have the best of Season 2 runs, but he's been on fire in Season 3 and has got a lot to prove this afternoon.
And what I love about these 4s is really 4 different stories. You kind of hinted at, but I want to expand on that. If Dalton Kilroe, it felt like started the season as a superstar, right? He just started off strong out of the gate like a bull in a china shop and really, really went strong for it. Ty Marasco pointed his way in when he needed to. Had some key pivotal races, but really, I remember a couple just moments in the early playoffs secured his spot. Williams, as you said, just been there all season, been consistent. I don't know that he's had what I would call his moment yet this season, And then you come to Dustin Ping, who I really think, Nolan, since the playoffs began, there's a little something extra under that hood. He's just got a little bit more momentum, a little bit more of a kick, a little bit more of a motivation. And I think of the four, Dustin Ping might be the favorite. But man, this is so hard to pick. There's a poll in the YouTube chat for those hanging out live with us about who do you think will win. I had a hard time picking one. This is really, really close. Sometimes when we come to these Final Fours, it feels like you have an obvious answer. I don't have an obvious answer. Any four of these could easily come out a winner here at Homestead.
It's a very split vote right now as well. Now, if we're looking on paper, Dalton Kilroy is the obvious one, right? He's the only driver that stands as a repeat winner this season in the Final Four. He's got 15 top fives and 17 top tens, but as we saw last season, being good on paper doesn't mean squat when it comes down to it, and you never know. We could be seeing Sean Williams come to the front. Remember Dustin Ping last season? He was in Williams' position. Minimal top fives, minimal top tens, no wins on the boards, and yet still came through to pull off the clutch win right at the buzzer with a lucky caution. This could go either way.
Yeah, it really could. I'm excited for this. There's a lot of different beliefs out there in the public about this system of winner-take-all when it comes to this. But here we are. We're down to it. It's which of these four guys can perform the best. This is the Super Bowl. It's the World Series. It's the NBA Finals, the Stanley Cup. Whatever you have all wrapped up into one, a winner-take-all format. We're just about to get kicked off here at Homestead-Miami Speedway.
Qualifying and warm-up going to draw to a close, and this is how everything lines on up one more time. Let's go to the starting grid on Monday night. It is going to end up being the driver of Nick Nickerson. Made his way into the Final Four in season number 1 today. He is just looking to try and fight it out for last-minute glories this afternoon. Final Four contender Dalton Kilroy starts beside him on the front row. Defending champion Dustin Ping, though, with the capper team to try and jump Nick Nickerson for the lead into turn number 1 if you get a good launch from third. Michael Thorpe Jr., unfortunately, heartbreak for him, was looking to be one of the Final Four competitors, but tech problems and health problems befell his way all the way through the rounds of 12 and 8. He finds himself on the outside looking in, but he is looking to go out in a blaze of glory himself to set himself up for season number 4. Ty Marasco, Final Four competitor, starts in 5th alongside Derek Paulson. Then it's Scott Shire in 7th, Connie Gibson in 8th, Jason Greenwell is 9th, and David Lakey rounds out the top 10.
Moving back to the P11, it's Tanner Marr with Jonathan Canfield on the outside in P12, Benjamin Lacey, and then your Final Four, the last of the Final Four, Sean Williams back in P14, Caleb Garigulo in P15, next to Bob Berry, Ethan Sikorsky and Michael Keithley back there in 17th and 18th, and then 19th and 20th is Christopher Bassinger and Larry Bell. Then we'll round it out to Brian Dees, Jaden Hopp, John Osborne, Austin McGill, Eddie Haig, Nick Osipek, and Robert Lukens round out a 26-car field at Nolan. That is a look top to bottom at the starting grid for this High Tide Racing League finale.
27 cars gridded up and ready to go. The biggest field that has ever been fielded by the Homestead-Miami Speedway on Monday nights. We only had 17 cars during season number 1. We had 21 for the championship race 1 year ago, but now we get all 27 ready to rumble this afternoon as the pace car leads the way down the back straight. Your final thoughts here before we go green for the final time.
I would not be surprised if we get a spoiler. And what I mean by a spoiler is I don't think the person who wins the title will win this race. There's a couple strong names coming back from breaks or problems or what have you. I would look for a non-playoff driver to win this race. That's my thoughts.
Well, we'll see how things are going to pan on out. The field going to work itself down the front straightaway. iRacing pace cars in a pit road, and we are ready to rumble this afternoon. One final time! We go, go, go on Monday nights!
Wow, that picture is beautiful right there, Nolan. Look at that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 different lanes being used across this racetrack as we come by the first time, and Nick Nickerson leads lap number 1. Beautiful run here, but look at this. They're all 2, almost 3 wide on lap 2. Dalton Kilroy up there hugging the wall, trying to get away from Ping, trying to get away from Thorpe, and so far is being successful at it.
So far, a lot of success being shown by that number 2 car up front, while Dalton Kilroy and Dustin Ping, our first grudge match for the lead of the championship, going on in 3 and 4. Ping trying to see if he can't work that inside line advantage. Caution comes down for the first time tonight. Canfield is into the wall hard in 4.
Yeah, just out of 4, and we'll wait and see what happened. Odd way for that car to be turned. Typically out of 4, you'll see cars get loose and face their way towards the bottom of the track. So I'm suspecting there's a little bit of contact there that will cause that yellow to come out. Let's take, here's Canfield, that 16, that white machine. There's Keithley in the Syracuse blue and orange below him. And up, I think Keithley comes up a little bit, makes a little bit of contact. And there's Canfield to the outside wall. And yeah, that's not good. Is that Napa machine? Was that Sikorsky in the Napa machine? I couldn't get a number on that.
Might have been, but you saw Tanner Marr was also into the outside wall already in turn 4. There's been a few incidents here on this. And that, I believe that was Eddie Hagee up on the outside of the racetrack. Let's take a look back, though, try to figure out what the heck happened to Tanner Marr. The Five Kings Motorsports driver was already in the fence and kind of got a bit loose, it looked like. Turned down across the nose of Gibson. Look at the Napa Auto Parts machine into the outside wall, and Osipek caught a piece as well.
Yeah, that is Sikorsky, by the way, that Napa machine, that one up top. That's the one I thought I saw hit the wall up there. And, yeah. Well, here we are. Lap, 2 or 3, first caution, and we're working lap 4 under yellow. And it's got to be a little frustrating for your front runners, because these are not short pace laps, Nolan. This is a 1.5 mile facility, but there's just something about it. I don't know if it's because of the transitional bank in the corners and how wide you run in the corners. There's something about this track that if you told most NASCAR fans, hey, this is only a 1.5 mile facility, and they didn't know any better, you would doubt yourself. I've doubted myself doing research here before for broadcasts. I always have to remind myself it's a 1.5 miles. And not 2. It just feels like very long laps.
I think you even reported as being 2 miles when we went here for the SRA IL Truck Series. Did you not?
I think I did. Yeah. And then you're like, when did that happen? I was like, maybe I did.
I was like, are you sure about that?
Yeah. Yeah. They feel long. I mean, if we're going to come out of the line, we'll check it again here. Let's take a look. I mean, a minute 22 pace laps. That's what your leader just threw down in Nick Nickerson. 1 minute 22 seconds on a pace lap. So you can burn off about 7-8 minutes per yellow here under caution. So compare that to where we were at Phoenix last week or some of our shorter tracks. These are forever long pace laps. So here we go. Only a couple laps in, Nolan. I don't know that anyone learned anything from that restart. I mean, I think maybe Nickerson learned that he has a good starting pattern and to keep with that. But I mean, they were so quick to get 2 and 3 wide under green. I don't know that anything could be learned from that first run that you can use moving forward.
Now, what I'd be concerned about is caution counts going forward. Historically, this track has been very good with caution counts for the High Tide Racing League. Only 1 yellow in Season 2, 2 yellows in Season 3. With the biggest field, though, there's a very high chance we're going to be getting way more than just 2 this afternoon. I would say maybe even 5 and up.
I mean, it does sort of come with the territory of having your biggest field at this track. So, you know, those two things do have some correlation, so we'll find out here. But pace car's down. Let's do it again.
On to the flag man. Green flag in the air, and he's going to drop it as we get set to go back to green flag racing. Nickerson takes off down to turn 1. Is already clear by 2 into turn 1.
They're racing hard. There's your front 2 playoff drivers in your picture. That red and white machine of Dalton Kilroy on the top, the black and red with the white accents of Dustin Ping on the bottom. That's your fight for your title, at least for the moment. And right now, Kilroy's doing a great job. But I told you, I thought some non-playoff drivers would do well here. Nickerson's leading, and I love seeing a Michael Thorpe out there. I would not be surprised to see Michael Thorpe come out here and win the finale race and kind of spoil the ending for one of these playoff drivers.
Boy, that'd be something, right? Making a big return. His first race, I think, in over a month here in the league now.
Oh, yeah, I was thinking 4 or 5 weeks.
Wouldn't that be something to see him win the final race, just to prove to the field, I've still got it, and I'm going to be here with a vengeance in season number 4. A lot of double file deep in the pack as well. Jaden Hopp, I'm actually just a bit surprised. Jaden Hopp has been historically fantastic on track. There's always over the front. I'm shocked to see him running this far down the field so early on.
Yeah, this is one of those tracks under qualifying where you just get a small bobble wrong and you don't get the bottom or to the groove you want in this track when qualifying, and you can really end up in the back pretty fast. And we didn't really talk about in qualifying or during good grid, but I mean, the time difference for most of the front of the field of 32.916 for Nickerson goes back to, I don't know, like a 33.3, you know, pretty far back. So, I mean, they're pretty tight qualifying here.
3 wide, Lacey and Keithley both stepping out off of turn 4. They're able to gather it up underneath the Lacey down to the bottom side. Greenwell hovering in the middle as Keithley's got one run down the bottom side. Brandy's making moves up top, 3 wide, and how about that? 2 for 2. Round the top of the round goes Keithley in the backstretch.
It's just going to smack the wall. Will stay green. Race control is the team. No caution for that. It keeps going to keep moving. But boy, oh boy, man, that's why I love this track. That's why drivers and fans love this track. That's why there's been a push for NASCAR to return here for the finale. Watch this replay first off, and we'll come back to this. Is Keithley here. It's going to get the 83 on the outside. It's going to get Lacey in front of him. Is he going to get loose on his own? Is he going to get some assistance? Let's wait and see. Oh, nope, that was some assistance. You saw that car briefly come in from the right side. And man, kudos to Michael and Keithley Nolan. Look how calm he was in that car going for that ride. There's a lot of drivers across the service, in any up and down, top I rating, bottom I rating, what have you, who would have freaked out and spun that car around. He just kind of kept in it and got control of the car.
Has dropped him back to 19, but he saves it from most of the damage, can still bounce back. It's a long race ahead of you. Meanwhile, up the road, Sean Williams right now leading our little community vote to on who might win this championship. Find his way to the field. He's up 6 spots now to 8th, about to make that one more as he shoots to the inside of Sikorsky, who's now 1 lap down, trying to fend off Jaden Hopp, who's quickly advancing toward the bottom. Hopp's down to the top 10.
Now Hopp's making a great run here. He's really taking advantage of some spots. And that's what you got to do earning these runs at Homestead, is you really got to make your moves fast. And that's why you're seeing a lot of 2 and 3 wide racing, because these tires will wear off here, and these cars will begin to behave differently. When that happens, you'll get a little bit more loose in the race car. It won't be as many passing opportunities in this race car. So a lot of quick action is going to happen here in these opening laps. So look at that. There's Hopp. He's on the back end of Marasco, and that's the challenge of being a non-playoff driver in this, a non-Final 4 driver in this race. You want to pass time Marasco, but you kind of have to do it about 8 times more gingerly than you do the rest of the field, because the last thing you want on your name or on your reputation or on your resume is the guy who messed with a Final 4 driver on finale week.
And it's not going to be like any other mistake, Brian, where you can kind of brush that off after a week or 2. That is going to stick with you for the rest of your iRacing career in this league. You will be known as the guy that potentially costed that person playoff runs. Sikorsky is in a pit road.
Yeah, he's coming down here again. I wonder if he's got some residual damage here. I don't see any indication of any kind of repairs needed, so I'm not sure what the cause for going down this early is, but there he is down pit road. And not only do you not want that reputation, by the way, for the rest of the league, if you mess with a playoff driver here, not saying that Hopp will, but I'm saying in this hypothetical example we're talking, if Jaden Hopp would have made contact with Ty Marasco and kind of ruined that run, any race in the future, throughout the next season or so, Marasco's going to remember that, and you won't get any drafting help, you won't get race clean, you won't get any leeway on anything. That's the other thing to worry about, is just how will people race you if you make that mistake. And that's why a lot of non-playoff drivers do race this very gingerly around the Final 4. But Here we go on screen here. That's Michael Thorpe, returning Michael Thorpe on the bottom. That's Scott Shire. That's Derek Paulson in the 6. Paulson having a great run so far. And it's really good to see these 3 drivers out here battling this hard at Homestead.
Thorpe right now down 1. He started up in 4th, trying to re-overtake Scott Shire, but he's having to fend off Derek Paulson right now to the low side. Thorpe running that Larson line, trying to pull some momentum from up on top. He is going to catch the outside wall, though, in 2. You saw a little puff of smoke there. Paulson down the inside, and looking like that's going to still go the way of Thorpe from high, at least for now, until Derek Paulson can find some more speed down low. And seeing quite a bit of separation at the head of the field right now. More and more drivers started to pull away. Dustin Ping and Dalton Kilroe still standing within 0.6 of a second of one another. Kilroe still leads the way in the final race of the championship.
And listen, if you're Dalton Kilroe, as weird as it sounds, you don't need to win this race, right? You don't need to get up there and race that hard and burn up your equipment. You don't need to pass Nick Nickerson to win the series title. What you need to do is finish ahead of Marasco, Williams, and Ping. And that's what he's doing very successfully right now. Probably doing a very good job at taking care of those tires, you know, just doing everything he can to be safe here, because if you get too aggressive, something bad could happen. It could end your night, end your championship, and end your season very quickly.
Oh, Paulson sideways, turn 2, able to wrangle it underneath him. Uses that momentum action to actually get to the inside of Thorpe. Take a look at the run. Turns a bad thing into a great thing. Shoots for the bottom side, but he's not going to be able to get clear. I think Thorpe will still just barely get the nose in up top, and that's going to quickly turn through the door. Austin McGill, Connor Gibson still going down with Brian Dees just behind. Kenan Gargiulo saw him make his first ever starts for the High Tide Racing League at New Hampshire a few weeks back. And guarding the sports car, now to the inside, he runs 16th, fighting with Jason Greenwell.
That's that Keithy driving up there. I mean, got close to that car, but kept it clean, and now it's got back in line here. And I think something worth talking about, too, for the most part, and why you're seeing drivers get in line, is this is a bit of a momentum-based racetrack. Now we're seeing Jaden Hopp get up here involved in this battle with Thorpe and with Paulson and others. But this is a bit of a momentum-based racetrack, and how well you can kind of keep yourself in the throttle for most of the run, how well you can use a little bit of that draft off the run can really dictate how well you look at that. Hopp got right in behind Thorpe, picked up some speed. Now I think Paulson's going to find a way in line here. But you notice how quickly Hopp gained on Paulson. So during the corners, you'll see people take different lines. But for the most part, Nolan, when we come out of the corners and we drift up here, you can see people get in line with one another and try and find that speed.
You got to try to find whatever speed you can get, right? This is a multi-groove, momentum-based racetrack. The line is constantly shifting lap to lap to lap. You never want to be kind of caught on the backside. Paulson gets loose again out of 2.
Wow.
And that's going to give Jaden Hopp momentum he needs to start to mount a proper offensive.
And that's a very common thing that happens here at Homestead with any of the NASCAR vehicles, is that at a certain point when the tires begin to wear or the run gets long, those exits out of the corners get really sketchy. This car wants to snap sometimes out of nowhere, just to the inside. And it is as a driver, pardon me, it'll frustrate the hell out of you, because what happens is you're man, I ran that same line like 10 laps in a row and this car didn't snap. And all of a sudden you're just like fighting it out of the corner and you're trying to hold on to it. And it's just like, it feels like it's impossible to really diagnose why. I mean, there are reasons, but as a driver, you're trying to justify in your head, and you can't quite get there. And you just have to hope that it doesn't happen again, and you can kind of hold on to it. But here we are now working lap 23 after our first caution existed on lap 3. But now we got a good run in. And Nolan, well, we got a small moment here. I think it's worth we kind of praise ourselves for the first time in, what, a week and a half. We got a race started with no lap 0 incidents. And you and I have been a part of some crazy stuff between High Tide last Monday night, the truck league we did on Saturday night, the Cyber 500 about 8 days ago. We finally got a race started on lap 0 that did not involve contact, an incident, a delayed green, or something of that nature.
Hasn't stopped these guys from trying to put forward some early incidents, though, as you saw Jeepley kind of sweep across the nose of Gargiulo there the turn number, off of turn number 4, sorry. But yeah, I mean, it's nice to be able to actually get a race started with no cars being damaged. I think the most notable of those incidents was that, 10-car pileup we saw at Phoenix just last week. And that ended up leading to a full race restart after about 13 laps of running. And the reason why they went for that restart, of course, was because it was an eliminator race, and they didn't want to have it be impacted by that. And I do like the call, because you have to imagine how different that race would have gone had they not made that call.
Yeah, it could have been very different. Likely Dustin Ping would not be in the Final Four. I mean, he was the cause of that moment. Just got sucked up into the wall, he said, and just couldn't get the car off the wall for whatever reason. And lots of contact happened to him and other drivers. I think Marasco may have had some damage, if I remember right. So who knows what the Final Four would have been if things were different. By the way, just of note, three drivers, have already called it a night. Canfield, Marr, and Ethan Sikorsky have already parked their cars for the night. So they will finish 24, 5, and 6 on the grid.
5, 6, and 7.
I'm sorry, 25, 6, and 7 on the grid. I apologize.
But yeah, so Marr and Canfield both pulled their cars into pit road with that lap to crash. No surprises there. Sikorsky did try to make it work. He, in fact, only retired about 13 laps ago, so he did go for a little bit of running. He did get lapped, though, and I think at that point he called it quits. Oh, boy, Gargiulo right up by the wall, 3 wide with Gibson and Greenwell. That is a bold move to make it on the high side of 4.
Yeah, it's pretty bold at any point in this track. They were close together, and now Gibson's going to back it up and so we can make another run. You know, a comparison I'll make to you that really came to me as I was kind of watching a lot of stuff over the weekend. As far as, I think, oh boy, you know what? Let me come back on that. I thought we were going to talk about the 31 being aggressive, but no, that's that car on the outside of Gargiulo. That was darn aggressive, getting up there on top of Gibson. Not because it's Connor Gibson, because there was nothing more than a race car's worth of width up there above him. That was aggressive. Connor Gibson backed out, let him have it. But as this race goes on, not every driver would be so kind as to lift and let you have that spot.
John Osborne, former playoff competitor in this season, now to the inside of Greenwell, down towards the tail end of the field, almost ended up turning Greenwell as Greenwell tried to pinch him off down low. Eddie Hankey has gotten himself into the mix for the BC Sim Sport number 97 as well. And Gargiulo still ripping that Larson line by the wall, doing a fantastic job on just driving away from this battle pattern. This is one of the fiercer battle packs he got in the field. A lot of the other drivers are actually single file by now.
Yeah, a lot of people now single filed out. They kind of realize that it's time to get in line and run and save some tires and what have you. That said, though, we're 30 laps in. Remember, the High Tide Racing League has a fuel tank system where the fuel tanks only carry about 70% of gas of a normal vehicle. We can't be that far from our first round of pit stops here. We are getting close to that mark of seeing the first round of pit stops happen. So that's the other reason why you want to get in line, because it's a little harder to pit when you're too wide.
Fuel window. It was a big discussion in the hours leading up to this race. I know Dalton Kilroe and Michael Thorpe Jr. were going through various testing runs to limited results, but general consensus, somewhere around 35 to 40 laps is going to be the fuel run. It's a bit of a broad window to have the fuel open for, but at least kind of know what we're hitting. We're only about 10 laps away at most from our first runs of green flag stops.
And that doesn't sound like a lot, right? 35 to 40, but when you map it out, it's actually pretty massive, because you count in 35s. You go 35, 70, 105, 140 on 4 stops. That means you need an extra little stop at the end. But if you can max this out to 40, it's 40, 80, 120, and you're good. That's 3 stops. So there'll be a lot of discussion throughout this race about who can save gas. Remember, this first run will be helped a little bit because, you know, everyone's under caution. They saved a couple of laps. There's a couple of drivers who did pit, by the way. Ben Lacey, Austin McGill, John Osborne, Eddie Hagee, Lukens, Bell, and Osipek. So they're going to have a couple extra laps. That may benefit them. But yeah, we're not too far from our first round of pit stop time. Remember, here at Homestead, NASCAR rules. So you do not need to use the access road in the pit road, but you must use the access road off of pit road.
Jaden Hopp closing in on Dalton Kilroe, started way back, I believe about 22nd, if I'm doing the math on that correctly. Up 19 on the day, now in third. and trying to pressure Dalton Kilroe for the top spot. We talked a lot about Jaden Hopp and how well he's been racing throughout the course of his rookie season. Part-time, yes, because he came in late, but all the same, he has been on point with his runs, and you can see him right now pressure in the back of the team MFRD current points leader entering this race. And for Jaden Hopp, I think he has safely established himself as a serious threat that should not be taken lightly by anybody going into the next season.
No, this Final Four could look very different next season. You got, you know, Jaden Hopp, who's, like I said, he is committed to running all season. You have Michael Thorpe Jr. hopefully running all next season. There's two names that, if there was such a thing as Vegas odds, you know, those names would be up there as favorites to be in that moment. Then you got some new names that would come in. We'll see some new names, I'm sure, next season come into the league who we don't know about. And you got some drivers who I think are ready to break out if they can kind of calm down a little bit. You know, I was going to talk about Connor Gibson earlier. I think Connor Gibson is someone who, if he gets a little bit more control in some of his decision-making that we've seen this season, I think Connor Gibson could maybe be there as someone we talk about next season who's consistent and points his way in as he comes down pit road here for the first time tonight. I like Connor Gibson. I think an interesting comparison for Connor Gibson, Nolan, is to compare him to how Carson Hocevar is doing in the Cup Series right now. A little bit more aggressive than maybe he needs to be, but still capable of putting good results together.
You reckon? Well, we'll see. I mean,
was that a play on words? You know, you reckon because of Carson Hocevar? Was that intentional, or did you just do that by accident?
I don't watch enough actual NASCAR to know any references at this point. So if there was one, that was accidental.
He's been known to be wrecking a couple people so far this season. He had that issue with Ryan Blaney in Atlanta, a couple other moments. But yeah, no, it's a good run. I compare that to, you know, I mean, Carson Hocevar is, you know, getting a lot of flack from the field currently for being a little bit more aggressive than he needs to be. But if he cleans it up and earns the respect of the field, you know, he'll probably do very well. And same for Connor Gibson. I think if he can kind of calm down a little bit, maybe make a better decision here and there. I do. I like Connor Gibson. I think he's shown some moments in the races we've seen him in.
He has shown those moments. He just needs to, I think, kind of, like you said, reel in that aggression a la Kyle Busch in the late 2000s, early 2010s, right? I mean, it's there. The talent is there. It's just getting that aggression in check and getting some discipline underneath him, which is capable. That is something that can easily be trained in. It's got to be something that he's going to have to work on for the seasons going forward. But I think his New Hampshire performance in particular shows that he does have speed to fight with the front runners, so long as he doesn't take himself or them out of the process. By the way, one big driver that we haven't talked about at all tonight, but we really do need to mention Christopher Bassinger, actually one of the league founders in this one. Haven't seen him on track since the early days of season number 1. Various incidents have kept Bassinger from competing in this championship. He has been without a sim rig for the last year or so as well. In fact, he only just now got his new sim rig set up just 1 week ago, less than a week ago. In fact, this is his first race in over a year, and you can tell he is loving every second of it fighting with the midfield.
Yeah, and kind of surprising for his first race back. He has a live spotter. He's got Michael Hall up in the spotter stand, one of the two drivers up in the spotter, or two team members, sorry, up in the spotter stand. So having a good run here is the 54. You see him there, that's that black and white machine in the bottom row there, way below David Lakey. And now it's going to make the pass here and probably come up and slide up past him. Here is Dustin Ping down pit road. So there's another driver. Is that not Ping? That was, it was Ping, yeah.
Yeah, that is Dustin Ping coming down to pit road. Your defending champion, the first driver from the championship 4 to come down right at lap 40.
So again, these first runs are going to be extended a little bit because of that caution. So good news for him that he made 40. That definitely gives him some leeway for the rest of the race if we stay green. Dalton Kilroe looked to be coming. No, not coming this time by. I thought maybe it was a little bit slow out of that corner, but it may have just been how the camera was making that perspective look. But he's going to keep out here. Pit road's getting busier and busier. Nickerson has given up the lead. I think Paulson's now down pit road. So in the next lap or two, everybody should be down pit road here getting gas and tires for the first time.
Jason Greenwell comes in as well. Dalton Kilrow right on board with him as we come down to the turn numbers 3 and 4. You see Hops starting to slow a little bit up front, but getting on the loud pedal, not coming down this time by. Neither is Kilrow. Jumping to the tail end, Michael Thorpe Jr. will be pitting into pit road along with points contender Ty Marasco.
That is impressive by Kilrow. Maybe that explains why I thought his camera looked a little slow, Nolan. Maybe he is lifting a little bit to try to get an extra, eke an extra lap out of this gas tank to set himself up better for the future. By the way, something we should note here as we're doing our first round of pit stops, the race admins got together and decided to give all cars an extra set of tires this week. It is now 4 additional sets on pit road, so 4 plus the one you start the race with. And I love that decision. I know there's some purists who believe that, saving tires is important and racing that way, and I don't necessarily disagree with them. But when it comes to finale week, you want to put on a good product and making sure people have tires, and we're not having concerns about people running out of tires or being on really, 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 really old tires at the end of this race. I think that's an amazing decision by the race admins.
Good third of the field came down pit road this time by, including Kilrow, Shire, Lacey, Williams, Gargiulo, Hawk, Dees, Bell, and Osipek. Right now, Lukens, Barry, McGill, Hagee, and Osborne remain out on the racetrack. They are bound to be pitting this anytime. No, Hagee staying out again. Oh, and that's because the top 4, they pitted for fuel only under that lap 2 yellow. So they can go the extra distance.
Yeah, remember that we mentioned those names earlier: Osborne, Hagee, McGill, and Lukens. So they got a couple extra laps. I say that though, as Austin McGill has announced his intention to pit. So we're seeing how far that extra gas is taking them. But listen, if this stays green, which you just noted, these races at Homestead tend to do, because cars spread out pretty quickly here, that may play a factor later about who did and didn't pit on lap 4. I'll be honest with you, I'm surprised no one in the top 4 playoff drivers made that call to get that extra gas, but we'll see if it plays off later. He's a couple cars down pit road, and this basically, minus our top 2 now, Osborne and Eddie Hagee, this basically completes our pit cycle.
Out of the drivers that came down pit road already, Hop, Ping, Kilmer, Lacey, Thorpe, and Paulson all managed to stay on the lead lap, which is borderline unheard of at a 1.5-mile racetrack. You usually guaranteed to go down at least a lap, so it's impressive that they're able to keep on the lead lap. But that does show again how long it takes to get around this place because of the profile nature of the corners.
Yeah, it really does, and so not that many cars, if any, will go a lap down once the cycle's over. Right now on the Tinker, you see a lot of drivers a lap down. They're all going to cycle back around now that, well, actually not yet, because John Osborne is not showing as having pitted yet. So once the 5, as you see on your screen here, once he comes down pit road, then everyone will basically get their lap back, and most of the field will be back there together. So let's watch down pit road here. We'll be taking a look at. Here's that access road we talked about. This is Lukens. This is as tight. This looks easy, by the way. This is not easy because you can do that right there. You get a little too aggressive on the gas pedal. You want to get moving. You want to get this race started. You want to get back on track. And that's a flat piece of surface down there that's very narrow, and it'll catch you off guard pretty quickly. So here's the 5 down pit road. Now within a lap, most of the field look at their lap back. And we're going to be back to even grounds and back with Nick Nickerson leading this race.
So Nickerson leads the way. Hop has picked up the number 2 spot as a result of the pit stop window, and Dustin Ping right now running in 3rd. Now, I want to point something out. Right now, Dustin Ping, his pit stop delta, 46.3 seconds. The top 2, 43.2 and 0.7 respectively. And all those 3 seconds, that is made up from attacking your pit box and attacking the exit of that box as well.
Yeah, I was wondering about that in my mind. I was wondering if maybe he just had a little bit of damage he wanted to get fixed. Maybe he tapped the wall and kind of wanted to do a quick repair on the car, because 3 seconds is a pretty substantial amount of time on pit road. It could be from attacking the line, but I wouldn't be surprised if we find out that maybe he missed his stall or that he had a little bit of damage to repair. But let's look back in the field here. This is going to be Connor Gibson up here up top. That's Brian Dees in that marble machine below him. And He's now going to pass by easily here. Let's see if D's tracks back out. Does it pretty well. Yeah, that's a good run by D's. I was wondering if he was going to track back out in time. And that's the one thing about Gibson. If we watch him through these corners again, Nolan, watch that black and red machine in the back of the camera if we can. Look how he's right in the middle of that track. And watch how he doesn't always track out all the way up against the wall. That's a little better than it was on the front straight. But you give up so much time in a race car, at any racetrack, you wouldn't need to come out of a corner and almost attack that wall. You need to get as close as you can. That helps you build up speed. It helps you get back on the throttle quicker. If you're hanging a lane down, kind of like, that's better. Yeah, that's pretty good, actually. You're giving up time.
Pretty wild sunset going on right here as well. Not a lot of glare being shown. This is on board with Benjamin Lacey, with Dalton Kilrow just getting around Dustin Ping for the points lead. But watch the sunset there. No glare, it's behind the clouds, but you see an orange orb in the air. That is a spectacular sight, and I don't think one that we have ever seen on Green Flight TV before.
Yeah, we'll wait and see if that glare becomes a factor at any point in this track and, you know, what it can do or not do to these drivers. But as I looked at a second ago, we are now past 6 p.m. virtual sim time here at Homestead-Miami Speedway. It is March the 3rd, and I was trying to get a local weather report. Nolan, if you give me a second here. March the 3rd. The sun is scheduled to set in about 20 minutes.
All the Homestead races.
I suspect that glare is going to get a little worse.
All the the Homestead races have been day to night races, so it stands to reason that it would be similar this afternoon. So we're going to be looking to be racing this one into the dusk, and well, looking like we are in this one for the long haul at this point here, Derek.
It does, and a couple of notes to come back to that weather report for a second. A couple of things I want to point out. So the sun setting in 20 minutes means it is likely that as that sun sets a little bit lower, at some point on the track, you're likely to see some glare hit these windshields, right? That's going to happen. The second thing is the track temp. We saw a second ago in that bottom graphic, 76 degrees, I believe, on track at the moment. That is going to lower as this race goes on. That's going to put more grip in the track and embolden these drivers to be a bit more brave with more grip in the track.
So is often the case with racing, right? And it's that bravery that can often cause incidents to come about. Look at what happened to Bob Berry, right? Unforced error brought out the lone caution of the race last season, and one caution can change the game. We saw how much that changed the game last season and would not put it out of the realm of possibility. And it seems to me like our YouTube chat thinks similar, because Sean Williams is still leading that vote, by the way.
Yeah, and I love that happening. But if you are watching the YouTube chat, you can vote live. There's a poll that pops up to ask who will win the title. And there's some stats in there about each driver that kind of shows you a little bit about them, so you can vote there. But right now it is Sean Williams leading with 36% of the vote. And then Dalton Kilrow's in second, Ping is in third. Ty Marasco is in P4. So if you are in the YouTube chat, please speak up. Let us know who you're voting for, who you're rooting for. Even if it's not a playoff driver, we'd love to see those comments come in live as the race happens. But here on track, there's the 34. That is Thorpe. He is leading Paulson around. But again, for the second time here, Nick Nickerson is putting on a clinic. It's kind of hard to talk about him and show his car too much in the broadcast, Nolan, because it's not always the most exciting TV to watch that one car kind of out here by himself. But look at that, over almost 4 seconds of a lead after the pit stops.
And this is classic Nick Nickerson, right? How much have we seen this car just absolutely cruise to the front and just run away whenever he shows up to race? He would be a big championship competitor if he were to race in this season regular. And in fact, he did make it into the championship rounds last season as well. Now, he did unfortunately go out, and I believe, in fact, he was going to make it, but he actually ended up forfeiting his position because he said he wasn't going to be competing regularly, so he gave up his position to allow for another driver to make it in. But that race at Homestead-Miami Speedway that season, trying to just pull up the race results. from that prior race. Nickerson did win that race, and it was by a very convincing 7.8 seconds. So the Big Red Pro Plane number 2 in his element right now.
He is, and and this is one of those tracks that either you do well or you don't. I know we talk about that more, I think, at road courses sometimes, but it's only about Homestead, just the way it drives, the transitional banking, handling these race cars as they get loose as the run goes on sometimes. Either you do well here or you don't, and it's very obvious when you watch some drivers race here that they haven't quite figured out Homestead, and I think it's because there's not really another mile-and-a-half oval like it. We don't get to practice in this as often as you maybe, you can compare a Vegas to a Kansas to a to other mile-and-a-halfs that we go to throughout the year, but there's really only one Homestead, and I think that's why maybe sometimes you see people just excel at this track. Here's Scott Shire in a 4. Whoa, that was Ty Marasco. He's up there on the Larson line.
Look at that sun right there. You see, you get almost no glare at all. It's a perfect orange orb, and I think that is actually helping the glare a lot out of drivers. But otherwise, be battling with it helps, of course, that it's either behind the grandstands or in their rear view mirror. But I don't think glare is going to be a problem today because of that fog.
Well, the challenge that you will have with the glare is a little different. It's probably not going to beat in the face. That's a positive, right? That's good news. Where the challenge might become as that glare is shining from behind you is for a few laps, does it mess with your visual markers on the track, right? Every driver has a marker on this track that they're using, whether it be a certain sponsor painting on the wall, or a cones up on the gate, or a line on the track that they think is theirs that's important to them, and that's how they determine where to lift or where to get back in the gas or where to tap the brakes to kind of trail brake the car or what have you. And that glare will mess with you as it hits that part of the track. So that's really the only challenge I think the glare is going to probably give us today. It's not going to be in their faces, but it's going to mess with the visuals a little bit throughout the next 20 minutes until the sun goes down.
Lights have flicked on aboard the from the Homestead-Miami Speedway. You can see those stadium lights on now, all out of turn 2 and down the back straightaway. So that has officially turned this into a night race. We're going to be racing under the lights for the duration of racing action. It will not get any darker than it is now over Homestead-Miami Speedway. John Osborne just made a move on Oscar Gill, made up a spot time. Marasco still kind of breaking down where things are at. You know what? Why not? Let's break down kind of where all of our championship fighters are at right now as we enter the second third of this race.
Sure, so let's start with Dalton Kilrow, currently running P3, and I think the note for him is important. He pitted on lap 43. That is, I believe, is the longest running of any of our playoff drivers. So as these runs go on for fuel, he likely has possibly the best fuel run. Now, right now, he is running in third place, running lap times equivalent to our leader. So that's a good start for Dalton Kilrow. Moving back 2 spots is Dustin Ping, pitted on lap 40. That's 3 laps offset of Dalton Kilrow. Ping, of course, and the driver who most recently has the consistency in this league, Nolan, has really come on strong and had some great finishes recently. He is running a 34.72 on about 0.3 of a second off of our leader. Moving back into P8 and P9, there's Sean Williams, our pole leader in the chat of who will win this title. And he pitted on lap 43 along with Kilrow, actually. And then Ty Marasco, who pitted on lap 42. These drivers are almost maybe a 10th of a second off of the times of Kilrow. So right now, not a lot of time being gained and lost on the track. It feels like this track has kind of calmed down. Everyone's gotten single file. This can be the challenge for Homestead. It's great side-by-side racing for the beginning of the runs, but once the tires wear and everyone kind of gets in line, this becomes a very difficult track to make things happen.
A very difficult track indeed, and I think that's something that Williams and Marasco have been fighting with all day long. Marasco, of course, down 4 spots, not in the position he wanted to be in. He could be. He started this race up in 5th, right where Dustin Ping is sitting. Sean Williams, meanwhile, one of the better drivers of the championship running so far. He is, in fact, the only one that is on a net gain of positions. Sean Williams +6 on the afternoon. Marasco, meanwhile, down 4. Ping down 2. Kilrow down 1. So Sean Williams up to 8th, but right now still running about 7 seconds behind Dustin Ping. And to give an idea of how that runs, there's Nick Nickerson, and there is Dalton Kilbrough. That's what a 7-second gap looks like on the racetrack.
Yeah, it's massive, and it's such a massive number here. And remember, we're running about 34, 35-second lap times under green, so that's just, that's almost a fifth of a lap behind him, I believe, is what that would come out to mathematically. There's D's now going to make the pass on the 5 and get around there. So a little bit of passing still happening. Let's take a look at our non-playoff drivers, by the way. Talk about our gainers of the track, plus 20. Jaden Hopp. We talked about how he's been a star all season since he came in the league and someone to reckon with. You saw him just go by there in that black and pink machine, plus 20. I have John Osborne in that 5. You saw plus 14. Eddie Hagee plus 12. And I think that's in the double digits. Benjamin Lacey's plus 9. But as far as anyone in double digits, I believe that's it. Now, the biggest loss so far that I can find today, Nolan's still on track. Connor Gibson is sinking like a rock. He's negative 14.
Yeah, it has not been Connor Gibson's day for racing action. He's actually going to be coming down now for his second pit stop of the afternoon. He's been making these stints very, very short, and I'm actually surprised to see that he has not been trying to push this out to lap 40 like a lot of the other drivers are. I wonder if he's been burning his tires off.
That's got to be it, because, I mean, he pitted lap 35 last time. So this is really his second stop, almost on the numbers. The problem with being on the numbers here, I mapped it out for you earlier, it's 35, 70, 105, 140. That's 10 laps towards the, at the end, he's got to find somewhere. And so right now he's not finding those laps. And we'll see if maybe a caution can help set him up, or what can happen that can kind of reset the math for him. But right now he's down pit road for the second time. And in fact, already off pit road at this point. In fact, that was lap 68. I said on 35, Nolan. I was wrong. That was 2 laps short of 35. That would make it a 33 lap run. That is shorter than numbers that we got from drivers pre-race.
It's interesting to see him making that strategy. Maybe we could even talk to him about it if we do get another yellow flag in this race. And we mentioned it during that lap 2 caution run. We were going to be a little bit concerned over the caution counts tonight, especially with getting one so early on. But ever since then, it's been green flag run. The only one caution of the day so far early in the race. This could go very much the way that season 1 did. You get one caution early, one caution late, and a long stretch of run in the middle.
Yeah, and I think worth of noting, Race Control noted tonight that all cautions are going to be thrown by Race Control by hand. So Iris is not playing a factor, but that means it has to be 2 or more cars involved to get that caution to throw. So a couple cars we saw maybe go down to the wall by themselves and come back up. That maybe Irisy would have triggered. Race Control is not going to do that. They want this thing to stay green. They want this to be the best driver who wins this race, if at all possible. Look at that 3-wide racing right here. That's pretty impressive. That's Derek Paulson. Is that car wiggling up for Paulson? It just looks like there's a small amount of, I don't know if it's just the camera shot, the camera shake maybe, or if I had to see that 6 car, it's kind of never fully steady. I can't, let's see if I can see it here. It looks like out of the corners, Nolan. He's not, he's just kind of slightly bringing the back end around a little bit. Let's watch the onboard here.
Yeah, this will be onboard. I think this will be the best one we can give you for that.
Has a little bit of counter steer through the corner. Maybe not as bad as it looked. Maybe that was more of a camera shake, but that counter steer through the corner tells you that he's tapping to offset for something, because you only really counter steer like that if you're trying to fix something. Otherwise, you want to stay there, keep your wheel turned to the left, and sort of open that wheel up and get it back to the right. There's a big wobble out of 6. So yeah, he's having a hard time here in this run. But remember, that's old tires. I mean, I want to point that out. So far, only Connor Gibson has new tires on. Everyone else is about to the end of their runs here and ready to pit. I would say the next, 5 laps?
Probably. We saw some drivers go all the way until lap 42, so I'd be willing to bet we're not going to be seeing drivers pitting until lap 84. For some of them, they can continue to make those long drives. Of course, John Osborne not going to be stopping until closer to lap 90, and that will be because he pitted on lap 46 of his race, and that was because he pitted under the lap 2 yellow, right? So we know for a fact that he's going to be taking this stint way longer than anybody else in the field, but that's because his tank allows right now.
Yeah, so we'll see how that works out. We'll see maybe who's kind of hanging out. You know, is there anyone across this field that maybe is kind of just sitting back and trying to bide some time? I mean, the lap times across the field are not that drastic. There's no obvious signs based upon the lap time that anyone is kind of holding back by any means. I'm going to go back. If we can track Connor Gibson about 2 laps ago, I think we're going to find an issue between him and Nickerson.
Would this have been, how long after pit road would that have been for him?
I just heard the call of an apology now, so I suspect maybe at the most 2 laps ago. I'll see if I can find a lap count for it. Sorry, I'm kind of calling out as I'm hearing things in my ears live, but there's...
Of course.
Gibson's apologizing for contact with himself and Nickerson. Let's see if I can find what I'm looking for here.
While you're looking for that, Dalton Kilroe still fighting with Benjamin Lacey for the number 3 spot. Maintaining the strong run of the podium, Benjamin Lacey, your Season 1 champion and Final Four competitor in both seasons prior to this one, trying to get one more podium to lock out his season.
So if we go to lap 73 on Connor Gibson, there's no contact, but I'll tell you what, it's a wild ride for both him and Nick. Up his dirty air, I know what's going to be. Watch this here. Here's going to be Connor Gibson. Remember, he has new tires. That's important to note here. It's going to be up here and even out of 1 and 2. He's going to come down the field here. That's the start-finish line.
He's got Jaden Hopp right in front of him, and he is on fresh tires because he did just come down to pit road a little while ago.
Yeah, hopefully this is his lap 73. We'll see if we can find what we're looking for here.
This was the lap after. You said it was between him and Nickerson?
Him and Nickerson, yeah, there's definitely, it's not, I didn't see the contact to it, but watch, we're going to fast forward here. This is a scary moment, and luckily neither one of these are playoff drivers, but this is the kind of things you get scared about. Here's Nickerson up top. They're both going to come down the straightaway here. They're going to race pretty hard. And again, Gibson's trying to get a lap back. He's racing for a purpose. It may not be for the lead, but watch this here. Gibson up top. And watch, he's going to bobble here, right about here.
Oh, look out. Oh, boy. Yeah, no kidding.
I didn't see any contact. It's interesting, though, because I heard Gibson apologize as if he thought he made contact. Here comes Nickerson down pit road, by the way. But I heard Gibson apologize as if he thought he made contact. In fact, he was questioning if he thought there was contact or if it was net code. Well, as far as I can tell, young man, there was no contact. But Nickerson was not happy with the fact that a lap car was racing him that hard.
Dustin Ping in a pit road. Christopher Bassinger in as well. So second run of green flag pit stops kicking off right on lap 80. So pretty much directly on cue. And that will leave us with one more pit stop run around the lap 120 range. 3-1 fight between Osborne, Paulson, and Shire. That'll like to get broken up through pit stops.
It will be, but what that means for most of these drivers is most of the field, here comes Ben Lacey down pit road and that black and blue Thunder and Lightning machine. Most drivers are good on one more stop. In fact, I would suspect everyone probably pitting from this point forward, I would suspect is probably good on one more stop, because even 35 laps, you still want to push the next one to 40 if you can, but I mean, you're getting good. There's Keith Lee and Gibson up on track. There's David Lakey down pit road. Michael Thorpe will be coming this time. There's Paulson right there in that black and yellow, number 6. So pit road, a busy place. And again, all the calls here, Nolan, will be gas and tires. No one will deviate. No one should ever be taking anything less than gas and tires on these pit stops.
Ty Marasco, Brian D's twin MFRD teammates are also in the pit road this time by. So one by one, we see the field trickling in as we get set for our next big drive of the afternoon. Katie Gargiulo has called it quits, and he was just popping into our YouTube chat saying he made it to halfway, was too tired though to keep going, and didn't want to cause a wreck, so he decided to park it. And I respect it. He's not fighting for a championship, right? Doesn't want to impact anything. He had his fun, made his point to go the distance, and he's going to be watching for the sidelines for the rest of the race.
Yeah, and I guess he's, like the Bon Jovi song, he's halfway there. So that was his point. Said he was legitimately yawning through turns 1 and 2.
Oh, trouble behind.
Hold on.
Sorry,
what was
David.
that?
David Lakey just went around, entering, trying to get down a pit road, and he's actually made his way back onto the racetrack.
I thought I saw. There's no black flags for David. Am I confused? I thought I saw David Lakey already down pit road. Watch this here. I thought, he's not trying to pit. No. What was that?
Full tires, maybe. Keith. Oh, Lukens just avoiding him. There's a lot that went on there, and he caught up Jason Greenwell as well in the middle of all of this.
Wow, watch that there. That's what I was trying to figure out. That's I'll say it. Oh boy, that's close. So Connor Gibson used the word netcode earlier with our leader and said, hey, maybe that was netcode. I'm sorry if it was. No, Connor Gibson, this is netcode. Like, that's scary netcode. Watch this here. That's well, that's close.
Still got to slow down in time despite being sideways. Credit to the Peak Performance Motorsports number 33 Chevrolet Camaro for that. That could have been a pretty scary ride. And you saw him kind of juke to the right because he didn't know if Lakey was going to commit to pit road or jump back out, and made the right choice to cut back left.
Indeed he did. By the way, Austin McGill is the last driver to pit. He's pitting here on lap 84. The reason I'm going to point that out to you, Nolan, is because when it comes down to these last pit stops here, then how much gas you need on your last pit stop could matter. And the reason I bring that up is he, in theory, could need less gas than the rest of the field. He might have a shorter pit delta. That could mean something for him as far as where he finishes this race if we stay green. So we'll keep an eye on that, see how that goes as the night progresses.
So race in action continuing on as per. The only two drivers left to pit are Eddie Hankey and John Osborne, and both of them are right now leading the way in this race. Hankey is down to pit road. We are not going to be seeing Osborne come down for another few laps. In the meantime, we're taking a step back. When we return, it's more race in action on Green Flag TV.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head to head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
Same time as Gibson, actually.
Welcome back to Green Flight TV. Racing action continuing on, and we've had a pair of incidents that have taken place. One with Connor Gibson, the one with Austin McGill. So 2 of the 3 Canadians have had issues early on in this one, and this will start off with what happened to Austin McGill and Connor Gibson. This is Gibson in turn 1.
You see them both. They're going to get really close here, almost rub, and then basically not that far apart. Well, there they go, up in the wall together. McGill looks like maybe just got a little snappy loose, and then he went out there and got into Gibson. Now, Gibson probably gets the worst for this in this sense, because watch this here. He's having a hard time holding onto the car. That damage is pretty rough at this point. You'll see he's actually having a hard time here. He's going to actually get up in the grass, and he'll pick up a little gig here, mowing the lawn. Make about, I don't know what kids make now, just mowing the lawn, 10, 20 bucks. And he'll finally get it down pit road. So his pit stop, being Connor Gibson, is still going on. He's been on pit road for more than 4 minutes. Austin McGill came in a lap later, a little less damage. He was only down there for about, like, a minute 45. But both drivers down pit road, both drivers multiple laps down here as we're working lap 96.
You would seem Gibson slow on the racetrack when we were under commercial break, and while that is exactly why. So two drivers now now down and out of the race, and the first 2 drivers, the finalists out of this race in the back half of this one. Seeing the drive of Michael Thorpe Jr. trying to fight the outside of Scott Shire. Shire has dropped back to 8th, and looking like Thorpe should be able to fend him off at the outside here for 7th.
Yeah, Thorpe's doing a pretty great job, but hey, for the first time tonight, at least it feels like in forever, look up front, there's a battle for the lead. Jaden Hopp has closed this gap since the last round of pit stops. He's got it down to less than a second. Looking like he's going to pull behind. Talk about this being a momentum-based track. He's going to use all that draft, build some speed. This time, Nickerson to the bottom, and 3 and 4. Hopp's going to follow and go high, I think. Kind of hold his line, actually. And here they go, back out again.
You saw Nickerson almost catch the wall and won that time. I think he did kind of catch the wall, but I think that maybe scared him a little bit entering 3. Didn't want to give him another opportunity for Hopp to get the nose in there. So that is now seeing Jaden Hopp blows the back of the number 2. Now working towards the back straightaway. Not able to get the run going. He's got some speed, though. Look for the inside. He's going to send it down to the turn 3.
Side by side, completely offset here. Top and bottom of the track. Hopp's going to try to clear him and get slid back up. So what we call the old Dale Jr. slide job. Not going to get in front of him, but is going to be a very close battle there at the line. Let me take a look at the timing of scoring. That would have been Jaden Hopp by 0.009 seconds if that was the last lap.
And this time he is going to clear from the bottom side. Jaden Hopp to the point for the first time tonight. Plus 21 of the day, started 22nd, and now he clears him down in the turn number 1. A great move there for Jaden Hopp. And now Thorpe once again under fire from Scott Shire.
Yeah, coming back to this battle here, Thorpe is doing a great job of holding off the 4. And I suspect that as this track is now changing, Nolan, the light, you see that's a lot less sunlight. More of the track lights are illuminating the place. Track temp has dropped, and so has the air temp a little bit. So this track is going to change. There'll be more grip. By now, we've rubbered in the track pretty well. That's one of the mechanics of iRacing, is that the drivers can now lay down rubber as the race goes on. Some drivers are going to begin to kind of ebb and flow throughout this field as this track is changing, and that's the best example is Jaden Hopp closing that 4 or 5 second gap that Nick Nickerson had at one point.
50 laps to go. We're into the final third of racing action of the High Tide Racing League MFRD Premier Series, and what a season it has been by far. One of the more chaotic seasons they've had across their brief but still exciting history. And you know, season number 4 is not too far away. I mean, they've been making a lot of discussions about when they're going to be starting back up next, and it's probably only going to be about a month or so.
Yeah. I don't know that the date is official yet, so I don't know if I want to say anything, but basically it is, let's say, towards the beginning of April, I think is what the decision was. And lots of changes coming, possibly. You know, they'll The community gets to vote on if they want to race the same car or a different car in the next season. So lots to still come about season 4. Of course, I know they were hoping, Nolan, that in this new iRacing update that happens next week, that I guess you want to call it the accurate Gen 4 or the new Gen 4 or whatever you want to call it, was going to come out. That is not in the development plans by iRacing, so we know they will not be racing the Gen 4 next season, I don't believe. But I don't know if a final decision has been made on the car as of this moment.
Big pass for P3 on the racetrack, and this was Dalton Kilroe getting around Benjamin Lacey into turn 3. Lacey up by the wall, and he's going to get into the wall in 4.
Yeah, as this night's going on, I'm kind of surprised today more and more people are getting into that wall. I don't know if it's because they just feel more bold because of the speed of the track or the grip in the track, but more and more drivers are getting bit by that wall as this night goes on.
And now looking for 3 wide here. John Osborne thinking about going with the staggered offset 3 wide. He is going to shoot to the inside of Scott Shire. He's got a lot of fresh tires, about 6 laps fresher than both of these two drivers, and he's going to pick one up from Michael Thorpe Jr. as well. We're only about 10 laps away from the pit. Well, not even 10 laps, sorry. We're only about, heck, we're only 5 laps away, less than that, from the pit window opening for you to be able to make it the rest of the way on fuel.
Yeah, we'll see who decides to come in and win. By the way, I can't find the cause and effect. Derek Paulson now on pit road running P20. He's been in there for about 6 minutes. I'm unsure of the cause. I tried to go back on my own and find something. I couldn't find anything obvious. I don't see any big wall hits. I didn't see any contact with another car, but that car looks fairly clean. That's some other confusion. Hold on.
Oh, Nick Nickerson has just dropped. He is tumbling down the field. And I think we're about to see his old connection issues plague him again, as I think he's out of the race with this.
Yeah, I saw everyone moved up one spot, and I was trying to figure out what that would have came from. I thought maybe my scoring and timing was just being a little weird. So that may be. Also, Larry Bell has called it a night. He will finish P22 behind Connor Gibson, McGill, and Paulson. So as an off-screen note. But here again, this battle has been going for a while on screen, Nolan. This is Michael Thorpe Jr. and Scott Shire. And Thorpe is just doing a great job. Not really being defensive per se, just running his line. And it just happens to be the line that's hard for Shire to pass. But I mean, you would almost say in some ways, I think maybe the more defensive line would be running high so that your opponent can't get that big run off a corner. But no, right now, here's Shire. He's going to try and make it pass as Thorpe's high for the first time. Now the question is, can Shire get up here and clear him, or does Thorpe maintain that momentum out of the corner? Here's on board from Thorpe, and Shire just ahead of him. But Thorpe's now going to try to get the cutback and pass low.
That's that inside-outside momentum that you can really get at the Homestead-Miami Speedway. And it's why a lot of drivers on defense love to run the top. Just look at the slider. He can pull now in turn 2. As a result, Shire going to cut back to the inside. And now it's slide job city. And this is going to keep on going until sooner or later one of these drivers isn't clear.
Yeah, that's probably what's going to happen, unfortunately, at some point. Is there'll be some contact or some very, very close to contact that will spook one of these drivers and cause that to be the case. By the way, you were correct on the call for Nick Nickerson. He has officially dropped out. His internet connection has no longer held on, so he is now out of the race, at least for the moment. So that's going to put Jaden Hopkins in the lead. And look at that, by the way. That puts him 11 seconds to the good on Dalton Kilroe.
Huge for Dalton Kilroe, who he himself is, 7.2 seconds clear of Dustin Ping behind. Kilroe arguably probably should have been the winner in season number 2. He was one of the best drivers on paper of the night. It was between he and Benjamin Lacey. They have been constantly going back and forth all race long. In fact, they're nose to tail right now. But that late race caution, man, it came in, it bit Kilroe big. Could this finally be the chance of Dalton Kilroe to come out and win a championship this afternoon, or will it be disappointment and have potentially just jinxed him for the second year in a row?
Yeah, Dalton, of course, a big race fan up, and not just in sim racing, works at a K1 kart track in Florida where he lives. So he gets to watch people race around the track all day and gets to feel that energy in the, oh boy, gets to feel that bug. And that's what you don't want to feel, is someone making that move. That 83 car, maybe not doing anything wrong per se, Nolan. I'm not insinuating that, but when you are fighting for the title, that's what you don't want. Look at that, by the way. Ben Lacey ripping the top of the track, trying to catch up to Kilrow here. So lots of great racing happening in this moment.
Homestead-Miami Speedway provides a lot of this great racing, and well, we got a lot coming up on Green Flag TV over the next little while. Of course, the MFRD Cup Series, we talked about it a little bit, Scott and I did last night, about how they're potentially changing venues in New Hampshire after the Martinsville race, and they have decided they will instead be going to the National Super Speedway tomorrow night, the beer league out at the Nürburgring Nordschleife for the Speed Cup Series, taken to Avondale, Arizona for round number 4. IL Truck Series out at North Wilkesboro Speedway for the Johnson 250 on Saturday night. And then it's going to be dual events on Sunday. And the ASML Xfinity Series is going road course racing down in the Sunshine State. They'll be at Daytona's NASCAR road course. But before that, Classic IndyCar Series getting sent to kick off their season 2 Sundays from now. But this coming Sunday, we're having a little bit of a media day here at this very venue, Homestead-Miami Speedway. Drivers are going to be turning up, showing off their paint schemes, and they'll be jumping on up, giving us a chance to talk about their season goals. If you want to learn more about some of the personalities of the Classic IndyCar Series, well, join us on Sunday afternoon. That'll be around 1 o'clock p.m. Eastern Time. You can tune in. And myself and Gary Godso will be in the booth for that one.
Well, so there's a couple, I mean, all those races are exciting for different reasons, but the two that stood out to me are the weekend races. That Saturday Night League, Nolan, North Wilkesboro, I suspect there'll be a couple fireworks, couple hot tempers. There were already some hot tempers last week.
Yeah, especially after the last few weeks.
So there's going to be some probably, I mean, and that's a tight track. It's a small track for that number of trucks. That's going to be interesting. Then you said Sunday night, the Daytona NASCAR version of the road course. That means that little chicane there by the pit entry, that thing is difficult and tricky to run. So those are going to be fun races. Everything's going to be fun. Beer League at the Nürburgring, the National Super Speedway tomorrow. That's all fun races. But I think this weekend's slate of races provides for the biggest drama there possible. There's a car down pit road, by the way, that black and orange machine. And that will kick off our last round of pit stops. That was Jason Greenwell pitting on lap 112. As Nolan said, we believe the pit windows open from here, so you can come down to pit whenever you want. Now, the problem with pitting early and why some drivers will be hesitant is if you do it now and you get trapped a lap down and that little pesky yellow flag comes out, you may never get back in a new lap.
Justin Ping going to be the first of the championship four to bail in this one. Brian Dees is in as well. I think Ping hoping that maybe he can get out there on the fresh tires, going for a big undercut to try to run down Kilrow. Yeah,
I love this move, right? It probably give him a little bit more clean air, give him new tires to run him down. And the thing is, why reason I like this is that when you have new tires, you need laps to use them, right? If you take new tires, to say with 20 laps to go, if that was how far they could get, which they can't, you may never get a chance to really get those tires warmed up and ready for movement. So I like what Ping is doing here. You know, there's a business thing I learned that says the way to be successful in life is to be better than, less than, or different than your opponents. Well, right now, Dustin Ping is going for the different than your opponent stretch. And let's see how this works out here with the strategy. Now, as I said, the problem for Ping is that until Kilrow, Marasco, and Williams pit, he has to pray this stays green.
Thorpe comes down to pit road this time while Dustin Ping takes to the front straight away, and there is Dalton Kilrow working that Team MFRD machine around for the Orman Barber Camaro. This is going to be so interesting to see how this one's going to pan out, right? I mean, I love these types of races that go long. We talk about it so much on strategy versus strategy, but so rarely do we ever get into these types of scenarios where we can see this playing out over a long green flag run in the championship finale.
Yeah, and so right now, if you're Dalton Kilrow, what's happening is these laps are ticking down. What maybe at one point where butterflies are getting bigger and bigger, they go from butterflies to eventually becoming like, you know, just big, massive pterodactyls in your stomach just flying around and you know, making you nervous, but you can't let that happen. There's still a lot of race left. there's still a pit stop left. And that pit stop has to be perfect, right? You need to get in your box correctly. You need to get out of your box correctly. Heck, don't speed. That's what I remind every driver when I'm spotting is don't speed. A single penalty, a single mistake here could take Dalton Killa from 0 to 0 in this playoff title.
Right now, the lone battle on the racetrack between Michael Keithley and Robert Lukens, and this is a scrap for 9th, going to turn it to 8th once they get around Benjamin Lacey, who is currently in pit road right now. So we see them pick up another position. While everyone else, we're just waiting on them now to come down pit road. Osipek is in as well this time by.
And so we're now working lap 120 of 150. So these drivers will have a very, I'll say not a very short run, but a shorter run on this last set of tires. Here's Michael Keithley. It looks like he might, nope. That maybe by that move left, he was kind of indicating to the driver behind him, that being Robert Lukens, he was going to pit. And he kind of bobbled the car. So I don't think he is. I think it was just a move of the car that I kind of read too much into in that moment. But again, Jaden Hopp, by the way, someone who just, it's hard again to focus on leader when he's that far out, but still maintaining a beautiful, I think it's still now a 12-second lead over Dalton Killa. I can't stress again how much I'm excited for next season for Jaden Hopp to be part of this full time, because he has just put on a master class. I think if he does pull this off today, Nolan, which I mean, we're still 29 laps to go, this would be his 3rd win.
Oh, okay. I thought for a moment we were going to have another caution. Sorry to cut you off. Keith and Lucas come down the road, but Greenwell just had a crash.
That's unfortunate for Greenwell, but here comes a car down pit road. That's Michael Keithley. Let's watch what happens to Greenwell here. That's that blue and orange machine. Hits
boy.
And out to the inside. Does he hit the, he does hit the wall again. Luckily for Dustin Ping, as we said, manual cautions tonight. Race control has deemed that 1 car incidents will not be a yellow. Oh, there's the first one. Then the car just sort of pinballs off to the other side. And the problem, you say, why does Greenwell let that happen? Well, what he's trying to avoid having happen as a non-playoff driver is to not get in the way, right? He doesn't want to yank that car back to the right, spin it around, and make a caution. So unfortunately for Jason Greenwell, that's some massive damage. There's Jaden Hopp you saw on pit road, by the way. That's that black and pink machine you saw sitting there. And that, for the moment, will put Dalton Kilroe in the lead.
Sean Williams, another playoff contender in the pit road, and he's going to bring Ty Marasco with him. So Dalton Kilroe is right now the driver that is furthest, going the longest on this stint. But he's going to be forced in as well this time by. So now we get to see, what does Ping have for Dalton Kilroe? How close is he going to be? What is the gap going to be? I don't think Williams or Marasco are in the fight. I think this is a fight now between Kilroe and Ping for the championship, providing Ping can get close enough with those fresh tires.
That can be. Here comes Kilroe down pit road. As I said, just keep consistent there. Don't speed. No mistakes. Here's Dustin Ping already pitted. He's now into turn 3. So the question is, can he get around here and get competitive in this moment?
Kilroe's taking 4 tires. He is right now off the jacks, making his way to pit road. This is going to be close, but Dustin Ping is going to get around him. I knew it was going to be close. I didn't think Ping was going to take the lead, though. Ping's now out in front, but he's going to have to hold Kilroe at bay. It was on 9-lap pressure tires for the next 27.
Yeah, that's going to be the question now, is how good are those new tires, and what do they give you? What can you get out of it? Ping just went around. I mean, that's great. Watch here. I mean, that's the difference in time right there. And now the problem for Kilroe might be that he's in traffic. He's got to hope that Lakey and others, Robert Lukens, quickly get out of the way here. Or maybe he hopes that Robert Lukens sits right there and he pulls a bit of a draft. I'm not sure what Kilroe's going to want. He's going to have to make a decision quickly and make something happen. 26 laps to go here. So there's your top 2. Remember, Williams sitting back in 8th. He was the pole winner in our YouTube chat. Ty Marasco back in P12. Right now, there's Dustin Ping. So here he is. Let's watch this. Let's try to do this here. So this will give you the time example. There's the line right there. And there's Ping, the line right there. That's the time gap we're talking about. That's the best example we could give.
And this time by the line will also bring up the lap deltas between them for the last several laps. There's going to be some slight discrepancy, of course, because of when Kilroy came down pit road. But we'll at least be able to see for the last 2 laps how much Kilroy is running Ping down by. Because that's the thing. Kilroy is going to be faster than Dustin Ping. That is inevitable right now. The only question is, does Ping still have the pace to fend him off at the end of this race? So there is Dalton Kilroy and Dustin Ping. Half a 10th gain last time by. 2/10 gain that time by Kilroy. That's because he just got around Robert Lukens, and now he's in clean air.
Well, the good question is that better or worse for Kilroy? Let's watch the lap times for the next 1 or 2 times by. Are we going to find out that little bit of draft from Lukens was helping, or was it hurting, or what happens? You see the screen, the stats there on the bottom of your screen on the right side. Let's see how those deltas work out. But of course, Kilroy is running him down ever so slightly. Remember, again, in this format, it's not who wins the race, who wins the title. It's who is the best of those yellow names on the left side of your screen. Boy, look at that. I mean,
that's not good. Ping's in trouble.
And what Ping has to hope for is at a certain point that fall off happens to Kilroy. And it will happen to Kilroy. Well, those tires will level off again. But yeah, you saw the bottom screen. Let's put it in perspective. Kilroy, a 33.258. Ping, a 33.835 the last time by. So that's a massive number here as Kilroy starts to rip it around the outside.
This is nerve-wracking right now to see this gap coming down, fluctuating. It's down to 2.5 seconds. It was up to almost 5 by the time Kilroy came out of pit road. He's almost halved it in just 5 laps or so. I don't think Ping's going to be able to fend him off unless that fall-off point kicks in right as Kilroy gets to Ping, and then we'll have a real fight for the championship on our hands. It doesn't look like this one's going to be a strategy. This is going to be one decided by pace and who's willing to go the extra mile on defense.
Well, what will eventually become the question is, it's going to be easy to catch Dustin Ping. Will it be easy to pass Dustin Ping? That will be the question. How much tire do you burn up trying to get around this car? And can Dustin Ping play the best defense of his life? Can he somehow hold on and win this title? This is, in a way, I think, a battle of 2 eras of the season. If you assume the season was long enough of eras. Remember, Dalton Kilroy started strong when you and I started this season, a couple months ago, right before the new year. And I hate that you use the word fall off, but that's probably an extreme version of that word. But definitely, Dustin Ping sort of took that role towards the end of the season. Won a race or 2 and having a good time. But here we go again. That gap last time by 2.5 tenths of a second, 0.25 seconds is what Kilroy gains. That gap is closing, and here probably not too long from now, Kilroy's gonna be close enough to start sucking the draft off that car, and he'll get closer and closer in that rearview mirror of Dustin Ping.
Gap is down to 0.4 of a second as they work their way into turn at numbers 1 and 2. Dalton Kilroy is right there. Looks for the outside. This is for the championship. Ping goes up high to block. Kilroy cuts back down low. Kilroy to the inside of the racetrack. Dustin Ping still way up top. Kilroy to the inside, and Kilroy takes the point sled and up to 3rd.
Great job by Kilroy. Now what Ping needs to do is get in line instantly and hope that Kilroy doesn't just pull away, right? Ping needs to stay relevant, stay in contact, stay in that rearview mirror if at all possible, and see if he can make something happen as these laps tick down. Remember, we're 18 laps to go. That's still a lot of time at Homestead, right? That's still, probably about 15, 14 minutes of racing, I would say, in this on the clock. So we're not done. Here's John Osborne, by the way. He's now racing back with Michael Thorpe here. This is the battle for P5 and P6 on the track. And look at the very different lines they're taking. Michael Thorpe, I feel like for the most part all day, has been ripping the top of that track.
Oh, he has. He has been doing that absolutely perfectly so far. I mean, Thorpe has been so good up on the outside, and now we get set to see what he can do for the inside. John Osborne washes way up the hill. Thorpe trying to get a run going down low. Not going to happen, though, as Thorpe tucks him behind Osborne. I think he has kind of done all he can do. Osborne was on 6-lap pressure tires, so credit to him for trying to at least fight back. Just ahead of them, the battle for 15th between Osipek and Lakey, the only other fight on the racetrack as it stands.
So remember, this is sort of ironic to watch these two battles happen because they're a lap apart. Technically, the front two cars are a lap down to the back two cars. So it's really two separate battles happening here in this moment. There's Lakey up top. And there's the car right there that's trying to help running down. That's Osipek. And then you see Osborne and Thorpe. So again, two separate battles, not connected because of two cars being a lap down. Kilrow still maintains that lead over Dustin Ping. By the way, that's your front. You see it on the left side ticker. Those yellow names as we're watching this battle here in Osborne. Oof. Might take past straight. And by the way, why you saying about this battle is important, why we're showing it to you in the moment live, is because this is probably the closest bit of contact we can find on the track. And it just takes one small accident by Osipek, by Lakey, by Osborne, by anyone. A yellow flag comes out, and this race just flips over and everything goes out the window.
By my count, I believe drivers like Jaden Hopp and Dalton Kilrow, they still have one set of tires left. So if we do get another caution, that changes the equation entirely. Then it turns away from a strategy and a long-term race into an absolute slugfest, the short-term sprint.
Yeah, that'll be curious to see who would stay out and who wouldn't stay out, and you know how much space the drivers with new tires need to make up, and all the what ifs, who's, when, whys, and hows that would go with that. In that moment, we'll say hello to Tanner Marr in the YouTube chat, watching along live, cheering on Dalton Kilrow. Right now, Dalton has that lead on third and fourth place. There he is on track. Get ready to put in Michael Keithley, hopefully behind him and from his point of view. But again, I'm impressed. We need to talk about this again. I know we're not doing a lot because it's a playoff race, but Jaden Hopp, 12 seconds on the field. 12 seconds on Benjamin Lacey. More than that on Kilrow, on Ping, on Thorpe. Jaden Hopp is just putting on a masterclass.
He's lapped all the way up to 8th place now and is likely to pick off Scott Shire by the end of this race as well. I mean, he has just been doing so well over the course of this race, and just behind, just in front of them, you got Hankey. You got Williams and Thorpe in the battle for 6th place as well, still on the lead lap. Sean Williams picks off another one. He moves up to the 6th place spot. At this point, the 3rd place in the championship is looking likely for Sean Williams. Ty Marasco's day, unless he gets a lucky caution to stay out on, looking like he's going to be finishing his championship one lap down. 4th place overall in the standings. Still not a terrible result for him.
No, a couple things to talk about here. So first, I kind of like where Williams' spot is right now because he's kind of in the catbird seat of, listen, you know, Kilrow and Ping are right there. Now, they're not racing each other side by side for the moment, but if something happens to those two, you know, Williams thinks he's in the best seat in the house. He kind of gets to pass by and pass it up. Now, for Ty Marasco, you said that's probably the one that's probably guaranteed at his moment to finish where he is. But it's worth mentioning, again, to tell that story. We thought Ty Marasco wasn't going to make it out of one of the rounds of playoffs. You know, had a start and park. At one point, luckily for him, I think, because of his solid run, he stuck with the race instead of going off to watch the College Football Playoff finale. Or, not the finale, sorry, the Nexon finale, I think it was. And realistically, could have just probably missed this whole shot had he went off and watched football, but started to have a great race, started to have fun, and went ahead and skipped ahead. Yeah, it was the finale, actually, he was watching there for, so great job for him. So really, all 4 of these drivers deserve lots of praise. They made it to this point, and yeah, it's going to be disappointing not to win it, but doing a great job. Lots of Jaden Hopp fans in the chat, by the way, so we're seeing some comments there about cheering on Jaden and how proud they are of him. So I agree. I'm a big fan of Jaden Hopp. I think he's got a bright future ahead in the high tide racing.
He's made it clear, right? He intends to come back. He intends to fight for a championship. And Dalton Kilrow, providing he can hang on for the next 8 laps, this is the competition that he's going to be up against. And it's no slouch. I mean, we've seen Jaden Hopp with his performance. You know the dominated run that Kilrow's had. I would not be surprised if Hopp had a similar one in Season 4.
But I think we're going to find out for Jaden Hopp next season, Nolan, is he a star in this car, or is he a star as a driver, right? Because right now in these Xfinity cars, you know, he's doing great, and I'm not taking anything away from him, but we're pretty positive that the car will change next season. Whatever it's going to be, whether it's going to be the Gen 7 NASCARs or the ARCAs or whatever they decide on. Some drivers are great at a car, right? Some drivers are amazing in a certain car or certain cars that are not great in others. And so we'll find out for Jaden Hopp if he can kind of sort of transition these skills into whatever car gets picked for next season. So that'll be the question for him. I tend not to doubt him based on how well of a performance he's put on here. He's doing just an amazing job. There's now 6 laps to go. It's worth noting, by the way, the 5 car of John Osborne has now gotten in between Kilroe and Ping, so that gap has opened up. So right now, if you're Dalton Kilroe, time cannot pass by fast enough in these last 4.5 laps or so.
And Dalton Kilrose has had to fight through a lot. I know he was, he's been through a lot throughout his SRA career so far. He has got some of the, in fact, he has the most starts out of anybody in this league. 4th most amount of wins, 5 wins so far on his career. 49 top 10s, look to make it 50 this afternoon. 35 top 5s is what it would be if it finishes where he's at, but 62nd start for him this season. Last season, so close to a championship, and to be blunt, probably deserved to win that championship. And, well, it was taken away by a bad luck caution. This time, though, he's got the freshest tires, and he still has a set to burn, so if a late race yellow does come out, he is not out of the game yet.
Yeah, doing a great job here. And remember, any caution out that would happen would take us into overtime, into a green-white checker, and that would make me nervous about putting tires on, for the record. It'd be great to have them, but if it puts you back in the field, that would be a nerve-wracking moment for those couple of laps. But boy, again, we're looking at Jaden Hopp. He's gonna come around here and he'll take 3 to go this time by. He's only about 4.5 miles away from claiming his 3rd victory of the season.
Up to the high side of 1 and 2, just cruising away. Now he is just shy of half a lap clear of Benjamin Lacey. That is how far ahead he has gotten. There is Hopp entering 3. There is Lacey exiting 2, over a straightaway between them.
And I know that at some point that Nick Nickerson had some internet problems and he disconnected from this race. But I want to make the point, Jaden Hopp had caught him and passed him before that happened. This is not that Jaden Hopp inherited a lead. I mean, Nickerson at one point was 5 seconds to the good on the field. And Hopp closed that gap, did a great job of it before Nick Nickerson had his internet problems. So I just want to point out that it's a strong point about Hopp. He didn't get this luck or this win by luck. He earned it.
Coming around for the final time, second to last time started, turn numbers 3 and 4. Jaden Hopp will pick up the final lap at the Homestead-Miami Speedway. Dalton Kilroe looking for the white flag himself while Hopp takes it through one more time. 22 races we have been running in the High Time Racing MFRD Premier Series. It has been one of the most emotional, one of the most dramatic championships in this league's history. For the final time in season number 3, Jaden Hopp round the top shelf of turn numbers 3 and 4. Jaden Hopp picks off one final win in his High Time Racing League career. But for Kilroe, last season he wonders what could have been. He had the championship taken away from him, as did Lacey and Hilbrands. Tonight, Dalton Kilroe dominated the season. He wins the 3rd season of the High Time Racing League MF Racing Designs Premier Series.
What a great job by both drivers. Dominated in their own fashions, put their own stamp on this race. An amazing, amazing job by both drivers.
An absolutely incredible drive this afternoon. Benjamin Lacey going to get behind the number 41, going to give him his congratulations from the former champion in this one. Jaden Hopp, meanwhile, entering the road course. They are going for a bit of a celebratory road course cruise. Somebody's got to tell them that section is closed. There's RVs. That too. Don't get DQ'd. We saw that happen once already, I think, earlier in the race, earlier in the season. But This is, I think, the man that deserves this championship. You see his teammate right behind him, and Kilroe's ready to light the afterburners this afternoon.
Didn't hop, but using the under-raced Homestead-Miami Speedway road course. I'm amazed he's that far deep in there, but Dalton Del Rio is going to come in here and so much to tell Jaden Hop, no one can see him celebrating in there. But you know, in a way, that's a classy move by Hop. He's just give Kilroe his chance to come in here and shine as a Season 3 champion.
You saw Thorpe as well going up, giving his own congratulations. It was a fierce fight between Thorpe and Kilroe all throughout the regular season. It was always between those two, right? Even in the round of 12. And again, what could have been for the round of 8 if Thorpe had just had things fall his way. Thorpe, no doubt, is going to be back with a vengeance. Kilroe, let's be real, with Thorpe not in the fight, he got off easy.
Yeah, it got off easy, but yeah, I mean, who knows what could have happened, you know? Again, who knows if Thorpe would have been there? What if Hop had run the full season? What if? But what we do know that it's not a what if, it's a reality. Tony Kilroe wins the Season 3, and Jaden Hop, we can't see you. He's having a fun down there. I'll give that to him. But listen, I'll say this real quick. I said it a second ago. Underrated. There's a great road course here that nobody runs. Just want to point that out.
Well, the Beer League ran it a few times actually in their history. So the Beer League.
Yeah, but as a whole, it's a whole in iRacing. It's a very underused track.
Fair enough. But well, with that, racing action comes to a close for the final time in season number 3. Let's take a rundown of your official post-race results this afternoon. For the last time in the season, it is going to be Jaden Hop coming home to take the W here this afternoon. He will take home one last win with Benjamin Lacey in second. Your new champion, Dalton Kilroe, back in third. John Osborne starts fifth with fourth. Dustin Ping finishes out his season. He will be dethroned as the champion. He finishes his season in fifth. Sean Williams in sixth. He'll finish third of the championship with Thorpe in seventh, Shire in eighth, Hag in ninth, and Bassinger in his first race back with a good outing. He finishes up in the top 10.
These are all cars one or more lap down odds at this point. P11's Brian Dees with Ty Marasco, and P12 the last of the final 4 to finish. Michael Keithley, Robert Lukens, and Nick Ospec round out your top 15. Then it's David Lakey, P16. That's the last car one lap down from here. You're 2 or more laps down. Bob Berry 17th, Connor Gibson 18th, Greenwell Nickerson rounds out your top 20. And the cars that didn't finish: Larry Bell, Derek Paulson, Austin McGill, Caden Gregulio, Ethan Sikorsky, Tanner Marr, and Jonathan Canfield rounds out a 27-car field.
What a wild race that we had here this afternoon. Absolutely stellar drive from all involved. And with that, we'll get the chance to take a chit-chat with all of the drivers that come over the end. Tell you what, we'll leave your championship interview best for last this afternoon. For now, let's get a chance to bring in Jaden Hop, the driver from Kenai, Alaska, takes home win number 3 of the season in just his part-time start. 8 starts, and overall he has himself with a solid 9. One final win of the season for Jaden Hop this afternoon, and Jaden absolutely crushed the field at the end of the day. Took the win by 14 seconds, and that comes after you qualified way back in 22nd. Talk us through your charge of the field this afternoon.
It was very eventful. Qualified last because I have another league race coming up here in like a week or two, also at this place. So I figured, why not start last, get the practice in for that one, and then see where I end up after it all. But just kind of slowly made my way through the field, and that was it.
You were able to have a solid drive this afternoon. You were driving very respectfully around the final 4 competitors, and I'm sure they're grateful for that as well. But you had to fight through all 4 of them to come home and take a drive home. That sets us up for season number 4. And, well, now that you've started at the back, you'll be able to see what the competition's like all the way throughout this field. How confident are you in your chances on potentially coming through and fighting for a championship full-time in season 4?
I'd say I feel pretty confident, especially if we can get the season championship at Homestead-Miami again. I think we'll be golden.
It'll be a solid drive for you. Jaden, before we let you go, anybody you wanted to shout out for these for this final week here on the season?
Yeah, I'd like to thank you and you guys on Green Flag TV for putting on the broadcast each week. I always have fun going back and watching them, and all the series admins and sponsors for putting on the league. It's fun being here, and all the drivers for showing up, and my friends, family back home for rooting me on each week, and yeah, just helping me on. I can't really thank them enough.
Jaden Hopp comes home, win number 3 on the season, and with that, the drive to Whitman, Arizona, going to bid us farewell for the last time this season. Apologies, I called him out from Kanaya last time. I'm thinking Justin Anasogag from Saturday nights. But that'll bring us up for Benjamin Lacey, the Season 1 champion. Gave his congratulations to Dalton Kilroe post-race. Derek, you're standing by with number 2.
Well, Ben, it's got to be a question of the what ifs, right? What if you kind of found your way into this last round of playoffs because you had an amazing run here tonight at Homestead, finishing P2. It's probably a bittersweet. It's awesome to be P2, but kind of wondering what could have been, right?
Oh, I mean, I think I missed a race or two early on in the playoffs, and that's what gave me das Boot. But that just shows how competitive this league is, and the drivers how good they are. You miss a week in the playoffs, it's gonna kick you out, So don't miss a week, I guess. That's the lesson learned there. But sometimes life events happen. But yeah, super excited for Dalton number 1. That's a heck of a championship. Congrats to him. Jaden's going to be a tough one to beat next season, and I'm just proud of everybody for the season that we put on this year. And I think I take a lot of pride in that what we accomplished this season. Even though I didn't win the championship, I'm pretty proud of what we've done here with High Tide.
Yeah, it's a great racing product, a great season, great results. I'm going to put you on the spot here. Is there anything you're willing to say about next season yet, or is that still under wraps?
Next season, we're still working on a lot of the details there. I will say we do have kind of a tentative start date there set, but more to come on that. Just to make got to make sure of a couple things first before we actually solidify that. But I will say early April we'll be back in business.
If you don't want to comment, that's okay, and we'll come back to the race in a second. I'm going to put you on the spot again. Are we changing cars?
There's a high possibility of that. We're in the talks of that, and we like to get the feedback from the drivers here in the league to see what they like to run. So there's probably going to be something coming out here in the next couple of days or so for the drivers to partake in and cast their opinion on what car.
So again, a great run tonight. The only question I really had in my mind, what would have affected your kind of mindset as a driver, we had that lap, like I think 2 or 3 yellow flag. Not only as an admin, but just as a driver, what does that do to you? Does that make you nervous for the rest of the race? Does that kind of put you in that kind of that doom scrolling mindset of like, oh, I hope it isn't like this all night long?
A little bit, especially with the way the track conditions were at the start. They were a little loose, a little slippery. So it does cross your mind of like, okay, is this going to be one of those races? I took a chance and said I don't think it is, and came down and grabbed a little bit of fuel to go a little extra longer, and that worked out. Actually worked out because I knew I wanted to run topside those first stint because the sun when the sun's out, I feel like this track, the topside's the way to go. And then as the night progressed, it was a little more on the bottom. So I needed that extra fuel to get to that length there. So that early caution actually kind of helped me out a little bit there. But a little bit of that mindset does cross your mind. So, there was a few instances I was very uncomfortable and said, okay, we got to get by this pack of cars real quick before something happens. So it is there one way or the other, that is for sure.
All right, well, this was a great run tonight, a great season, and we're looking forward to seeing you in a few weeks.
Yes, sir. And I appreciate Green Flag TV. You guys do such an amazing job, and so thank you for being on board with us. And Final Four drivers, congrats on a heck of a season, and we'll come back out next year or next season.
Awesome. Thanks, Ben. All right, we go from Benjamin Lacey. I think now it is time to talk to the big winner. It's time to talk to the man from Ormond Beach, Florida. It's time to talk to your Season 3 champion, Dalton Kilroe. Dalton, how does that feel to hear someone say that to you?
Feels pretty good. Feels like a bit of a long time coming, but glad to finally get one belt, one notch in the belt, I guess you would call it, and just bring home a pretty solid season overall.
So I think the moment of the race for you has to be those last round of pit stops. Dustin Ping comes in first and does an amazing job at really getting out well ahead of you, 5, 6, maybe 7 seconds, and you run him down. When you see Dustin Ping was that far ahead, what was going through your mind?
Well, I had been paying attention to when he pit, and I knew I still had like 8 something laps to go. I did not want to take the chance at getting caught by a yellow, especially because I knew there were others that were going to stay out as well. So I just ran it dry. And when I came out of the pits, I had like 9 lap fresher tires than him, and I knew that the fall off was pretty crazy, especially if 10 laps on the tires. So I'd be able to maintain that. And just, I knew as long as I kept my head focused and didn't try to overdrive the car to make up that gap, I was going to be fine, because I knew the second you got these tires too hot, that's when you would start to slide, you'd start to be all over the place. So I just stayed calm and drove him down, and didn't really give him much of a choice but to kind of had to just kind of let it happen. But yeah, him and I were good all night, and in terms of like how we were going to race each other, and yeah, championship's on the line, but I know he's not going to do something stupid to jeopardize both of us potentially getting it. So yeah, we're all good. I was trying to run down Ben there, but just didn't have enough tire at the end.
So I'm sure at some point the butterflies in your stomach kind of turned really big. Probably got the size of like peacocks or flamingos inside your stomach. But at what point, like, is it the 1 to go? Is it the checkered flag? Is it 2 to go? When does that let loose? Like when did you kind of crack a smile? When did all the stress come off of your body, or has it still come off of your body? Are you still kind of like not really ready to like accept it yet?
I think I've started to accept it pretty well. Once I heard that Jaden had taken the white and he was so far ahead, I was going down the backstretch coming to the line with 2 to go. So I was like, okay, he took the white. It's over. As long as I just don't wreck this last lap, I'm good. So I was just kind of praying that there just wasn't a late caution. I mean, I know we all had an extra set of tires, but I had built up such a gap during that final run that I was just not wanting to let them get close again, because I would bring them right back into it and allow for a mistake, and thankfully that didn't happen.
So last question for you, kind of looking ahead to season 4, as hard as it's to believe already. Nolan and I had a talk in the booth tonight during the race about Jaden Hopp, and I want to get your perspective as a league admin and someone who races with him, on a weekly basis now. Does it just feel like just the sky's the limit in season 4 for Jaden Hopp?
Yeah, especially with the speed he's shown all year. Ever since he joined, he's been one of, if not the guy to beat. I know even the 2 before he had his electrical issues. Sorry about that. Before he had his electrical issues, he was beating Nick, which I didn't think was going to happen. He just ran him down. We'll have to see what car we end up going with, if we even make a change. What we shall see. But I feel like whatever we go with, he's going to be the man to beat.
Well, it's time to go celebrate, buddy. It's time to recognize, at least for however long it's going to be the next few months, the rest of the league gets to call you champion. We're now on the Dalton Kilrow Victory Tour. Great job tonight. Great run. We'll see you soon.
Sounds good, man. Thank you. And hey, thank you guys for the entire season for broadcasting for us. You guys are one of the best out here to do it, and glad we're with you.
Yeah, we're glad you're here as well. So once again, that is Dalton Kilrow, your season 3 champion. He's going to go celebrate Nolan and celebrate that title.
What a drive that we had all throughout this season, right? I mean, this season was nothing short of fantastic. One of the most chaotic, one of the most dramatic championships that we've seen play out on Green Flag TV in a while, especially with all the highs, all the lows. Some drivers are ready to go reach for the stars. Some drivers are ready to go and prove that they've still got what it takes. Other drivers trying to see if they can now fend off their past glories. And who knows, right? Potentially a brand new car, going to be a brand new schedule. Only a few weeks looking like, at least, between seasons 3 and 4. Tentatively speaking, of course, with Benjamin Lacey making that call. There is so much still in the way of what could end up happening, and I'm looking forward to be back at the booth again for every single second of it.
Yeah, it's going to be exciting. New stars, new names, new tracks, new schedule. And for the drivers who maybe didn't have the best season, Nolan, it's a brand new start only a few weeks away. But man, what a great run tonight. Dalton Cooper wins your title. Jaden Hopp does his own last to first challenge, and many more exciting moments throughout this broadcast tonight.
Still a long way to go yet before we really get to that point. When we go racing next on Green Flag TV, it's going to be with the MFRD Cup Series round number 8 at the Nashville Super Speedway. The Beer League swings out to the Green Hell to the Nürburgring Nordschleife on Wednesday night at 9:20 p.m. Eastern Time. The Speed Cup Series will be out in Avondale, Arizona for round 4 at 9:15 p.m. Eastern Time on Thursday. And all of that takes us to the end of racing action this afternoon. Of course, SRA, once again on Saturday. Tune in on for the Classic IndyCar Series in their media day on Sunday afternoon. And a lot of racing to be had as well. New stars, new day, brand new season coming on up. Derek Watson and I will be back in the booth for the entirety of season number 4, whenever that may kick off. Keep tabs on our community page. We'll post that schedule and any off-season updates whenever we receive them on our end as well. If you want to find out more about who we are, you can check us all out today at www.greenflagtv.com. What a wild season. What an emotional season. Congratulations again to the top 3, the top 4 of this championship for making it this far and for putting on one hell of a show to close things out. My name is Noel Rempel, alongside Derek Watson. One final time, we bid you farewell, and we will see you when we go racing once again on Monday nights for the High Tide Racing League.